Have you ever felt like you're working harder than everyone around you, yet your life refuses to move forward? Have you ever watched people online become successful while you're waking up before sunrise, sleeping after midnight, and still wondering how you'll pay next month's bills? Maybe you've tried everything. You learned a little graphic design, then you switched to trading, then you started selling online. Then someone told you AI was the future. A week later, another person said YouTube automation was the answer. Before you knew it, you were running in 5 different directions, but somehow standing in the exact same place. The strange part is this: you're not lazy, you're exhausted. Your hands are busy. Your mind is overloaded. Yet your bank account tells a different story. So you blame yourself. You think you need to work harder, sleep less, push more. What if your problem isn't a lack of effort? What if all your hard work is being poured into too many places? Today, you'll meet a man who believed that working longer hours was a secret to becoming rich. He nearly destroyed his body chasing that dream, until one simple lesson changed everything. A lesson so powerful that it turned years of struggle into a future he never imagined. If you're tired of working endlessly without seeing real progress, then this story will change how you see your life forever. Stay with me until the very end. Every morning before the sun appeared, Daniel was already awake. He worked as a construction laborer. By 6 o'clock, he was carrying heavy bags of cement across dusty building sites. His shirt stayed soaked with sweat. His shoulders burned. His palms were rough and covered with tiny cuts. By evening, most people would go home and rest. Daniel couldn't. He believed rest was for people who had already made it. So after work, he rushed to another job delivering food on a motorcycle.
Late at night, he sat in his tiny room with a cup of cheap coffee that had long gone cold. His eyes were bloodshot. His back screamed with pain. Still, he opened another online course. One week it was cryptocurrency. The next week it was dropshipping. Then Amazon FBA. Then Forex. Then coding. Then video editing. Every new success story became his new plan. His phone was filled with hundreds of saved videos. His notebook was packed with unfinished ideas. Nothing ever became a real skill. Whenever friends questioned him, Daniel smiled and repeated the same sentence. You have to hustle 24/7. Sleep is for poor people. He heard those words online so many times that he believed them completely. His mother rarely saw him. He skipped birthdays, ignored family dinners. Even when his younger brother asked him to play football for just 30 minutes, Daniel always answered the same way. Not now. I'll enjoy life after I become rich. Months became years. His income barely changed. His body grew weaker. His stress became normal. The more desperate he became, the more opportunities he chased. He believed that somewhere, one more course, one more side hustle, or one more trend would finally rescue him. Instead, every new opportunity stole attention from the last one. Without realizing it, Daniel wasn't building skills anymore. He was collecting distractions. Then something happened that Daniel couldn't understand. His old neighbor, Samuel, bought a new house. A few months later, Samuel drove a beautiful pickup truck. People whispered about how well he was doing. Daniel felt confused. Samuel had never gone to university. He wasn't chasing 10 different businesses. For almost 12 years, Samuel had done only one thing. He repaired industrial welding machines. The same work. Every day, year after year. People trusted him because he became one of the best. Factories called him first.
Companies waited weeks just to book him. His prices kept rising. His reputation spread without advertising. Daniel couldn't hide his jealousy. It's not fair, he muttered. I work twice as hard. But deep inside, another question bothered him. What does he know that I don't? Then life answered him in the hardest way. One afternoon, while lifting heavy concrete blocks after working almost 16 hours, Daniel suddenly collapsed. Everything became blurry. His coworkers rushed toward him.
The doctor later told him the truth. You've pushed your body too far. If you don't slow down, your health will continue getting worse. As if that wasn't enough, he returned home to find an eviction notice taped to his door. He had worked every single day. Yet he couldn't even keep his small apartment. That night, Daniel lay on his thin mattress. The room was silent. He stared at the cracked ceiling for hours. For the first time, he stopped blaming bad luck. Maybe, just maybe, his entire idea of success had been wrong. A few days later, Daniel visited Samuel, not to borrow money, but to ask a question. "I don't understand," Daniel admitted quietly. "I work harder than anyone I know. Why am I still poor?" Samuel smiled. Instead of answering, he picked up a shovel. They walked behind his workshop. Samuel pointed to 10 shallow holes scattered across the ground. Each one was only a few inches deep. Then he pointed to one deep well nearby. Fresh water flowed from it. "If you're thirsty," Samuel asked, "which one would save your life?" "The deep well," Daniel answered. Samuel nodded. "Exactly. You've been digging 10 holes. You keep leaving each one before reaching water. Rich people don't usually work harder than everyone else. They stay in one place long enough to reach something valuable. Patience, persistence, and concentration form an unbeatable combination that failure can never cope with." Then he picked up 2 pieces of metal. One was covered with dozens of weak welds. The other had one flawless weld holding everything together. "A weak weld breaks under pressure," Samuel said. "A perfect weld carries the whole structure. Your attention works the same way. You've spread it so thin that nothing becomes strong." Samuel looked directly into Daniel's eyes. "Social media has convinced people that success should happen in months. But real wealth is built through years of mastering something that solves expensive problems. Generalists often become easy to replace. Masters become difficult to ignore." Then Samuel said the sentence Daniel would never forget. "Your current strategy is mathematically incapable of making you wealthy. If you spend 1 year learning 6 different skills, each gets only a fraction of your energy. But if one skill receives all your effort for that same year, its value can multiply many times over." At that moment, Daniel realized his biggest enemy wasn't failure. It was distraction, disguised as opportunity. That evening, Daniel returned home with a different mind. He deleted dozens of unfinished online courses. He unsubscribed from channels that constantly pushed the next shiny opportunity. He closed tabs that had been open for months. Then he made one decision. He would master industrial welding. Just one skill, nothing else. The beginning wasn't exciting. Every day looked almost the same. Practice, study, improve, repeat. Weeks passed, then months. Friends laughed. "You're still doing that? You should try this new business. This AI thing will make you rich." Daniel smiled politely, then went back to practicing. For the first time in years, he wasn't chasing excitement. He was building expertise. 1 year later, small factories began calling him. Soon, bigger companies followed. His waiting list grew longer. His prices increased. Then he hired his first apprentice. Later, a second. Eventually, Daniel wasn't just selling his time anymore. He owned a respected business, built on one skill mastered so well that people gladly paid premium prices. The man who once chased everything had finally found everything he was looking for by focusing on one thing. Dear listener, this story is not just about Daniel. It's about every person who mistakes movement for progress. Before we end, remember these 2 powerful 1% wealth rules.
Rule number 1, the law of extreme focus. The 99% keep starting over. They chase every trend, every new app, every new promise. The 1% choose one valuable skill and stay with it long after everyone else gets bored. Mastery creates value. Value creates wealth. Rule number 2, the replaceability. The 99% become average at many things, making them easy to replace. The 1% become exceptional at one thing that solves costly problems. The harder you are to replace, the more people are willing to pay for your work. So ask yourself one simple question. What is the one skill worth giving your full attention to for the next 3 to 5 years? Your future may depend on that answer. If this story changed the way you think, don't keep it to yourself. Like this video, subscribe for more timeless lessons on building 1% wealth, and comment below the one distraction you're deleting tonight or the single skill you're locking in on from today forward. Because the life you've been chasing may not require you to do more. It may simply require you to stop digging 10 shallow holes and finally dig one deep enough to reach water.